What's going on, team? It's your boy G, aka Janato Sensei. We back at it again with another episode of the G Files, man. Today's episode, we're gonna be talking about F9, the Fast Saga. But before we do, I need you to do one huge favor, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and any bit of support is greatly appreciated. You could be watching any video on YouTube right now, but you decided to check this one out. So I appreciate y'all. Without further ado, let's get into the review. So, Fast and Furious is crazy, bro. This is probably the most ridiculous. Maybe not. Like the most. It's definitely the most ridiculous movie I've ever seen, bro. Because we all know what Fast and Furious is, man. And not only in this movie do they, tackle some of the plot holes and things that we've all grown to like understand and love about the movie, but also wrap it up into like a crazy family story that really brings out the true essence of like just this series and this collection of movies, man. One thing that I just wanted like the most out of this show was them to actually drive, man, because the more outrageous and crazy that the stunts became and the movies became, it seemed like it was less and less driving and more like superhero action spy type of vibes, bro. But in this film, they actually was driving and they freaking went to space, bro. That's crazy to me. Like that was always like a joke or whatever, but I don't know what else like they could do at this point, So with any like Fast and Furious movie, man, like there's gonna be plot holes and there's gonna be like really not bad transitions as far as like quality wise, but you're never gonna see how they get to and from any place. Pretty much, it's just like you're gonna see the action happening and then it's gonna cut to something else, and then next thing you know you're back and it's like, okay, everything's back to normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, that happened plenty of times in the movie, and I don't really like that, but I got accustomed to it after watching all of the different Fast and Furious films. Like, I actually took a break from the last one. I didn't really tune into watching it, but one thing that I do like about Fast and Furious is that you don't necessarily need to watch the rest of them to be able to enjoy what you're currently watching. Now, as we all know, like this series and saga, wherever you want to call it, is packed full of notable names, and for me a lot of times it's hard to differentiate the person from the character, and a lot of times like that didn't really, to me, Vin Diesel and John Cena's like brotherly love connection, like I never really got it, even though like for the most part they was enemies in this movie. But I don't know, I just couldn't see past those two like being themselves, and Vin Diesel having his very strict, non-emotional way of speaking, and it's just like you got John Cena, who's usually the opposite, trying to play this bitter brother and stuff like that, and it just, I don't know, it just didn't hit for me. And one thing that I do appreciate in the movie that they had, but I think it was a little bit too many of, was the flashbacks. Now the flashbacks help tie the story together, and I think that the flashback characters did a better job than Vin Diesel and John Cena, honestly, of expressing the hurt and like anguish that they gone through their whole life to get them to this point. But I feel like they use those as basically like transition scenes that a lot of times it's like I just felt like it wasn't really needed. Now I think that with this whole series and film, like the character development is not so much on a movie to movie basis, it's more so the overall story, that if you look at it as a whole, you'll see the development of a lot of these characters, man, from first moment that we saw them to this most recent movie. You can actually see it, so that was dope to see, along with them really technically not breaking the fourth wall, but tackling the issue of all of them being invincible, bro. They actually brought it up and it was hilarious. It happened multiple times, and it really like lightened the mood to like all of the different crazy things that was happening throughout the story. But like I said, this is Fast and Furious, bro. It's funny, it's ridiculous. Now speaking of them being invincible, the stakes in this movie had its good and bad sides to it. A lot of times like I did feel like the pressure of them trying to save the day, but also at times I kind of was like not really impressed and was more so into just what was happening on the screen. Like I was just like, in awe just because of like how many freaking cars blew up, bruh. Like, and just how there's no regard for like bystanders and things that, you know, make this movie ridiculous, but also action packed to, you know, be the main vehicle for what makes this movie really cool. It was, you know, pretty balanced. Now, as far as, you know, how it was shot, I think it was great, bro. The little different symbols of, you know, Vin Diesel and John Cena being yin and yang in the beginning of the movie, that was cool. And, you know, Tyrese and Ludacris being in space, that was dope. From a visual point, I wasn't really expecting, you know, to have any complaints. Like, I just really wanted them to really start driving again. Like, that was my main thing. But possibly, you know, my favorite part of the movie, man, was them actually bringing the different worlds together. Now, if you watched, like, you know, this whole saga, this whole group of movies, you know, the Tokyo Drift was kind of like its own universe in a sense, because none of like the main crew was there. It was just Han, and even he was just like pretty much a side character. And them to not only bring that world or that universe into the main one was really cool to see, you know what I'm saying? And I think they tied it in really well, honestly. But other than that, that's pretty much all I really got. I would rate this movie, you know, like an 86 out of 100, just because, like, I really enjoyed it, bro. It was action packed. It was ridiculous. It was a Fast and Furious movie. So if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know in the comment section down below. What was your favorite part of the movie? And I'm gonna catch y'all later, man. Y'all know the vibes. Always keep growing, stay going. It's been your boy G. I'm gone. Peace.